Ayo Adeyemi, heir to the sprawling Adeyemi Holdings empire, stared out from his penthouse apartment overlooking the glittering Lagos lagoon. At 32, he commanded a fortune, a fleet of luxury cars, and a Rolodex full of Africa's elite. Yet, his heart felt like an empty vault. Every woman he met seemed to see only his surname, a gateway to endless possibilities. He craved authenticity, a connection unmarred by the gleam of his wealth. True love, he muttered to the empty room, is a myth when you're a billionaire. A radical, almost insane idea sparked in his mind: he would become invisible. He would shed his designer suits for a cleaner's uniform, trade his corner office for a mop bucket, and find love where no one expected him to look, in the very company he owned. His loyal chief of staff, Colonel, almost fainted when Ayo presented the plan, but Ayo's resolve was ironclad. He would be Femi, a humble new hire in the facilities department, starting tomorrow. The fluorescent lights of Adeyemi Holdings' ground floor shone harshly on Femi, the new cleaner. Ayo, accustomed to bespoke suits and polished leather, felt ludicrous in his ill-fitting uniform, pushing a heavy cleaning cart. He fumbled with the mop, nearly slipping on a wet patch, drawing a snicker from a passing intern. This was harder than he imagined. As he struggled to polish a particularly stubborn glass partition, a melodic voice cut through his frustration. "Here, let me show you," a woman offered, her fingers expertly gliding the cloth, leaving a streak-free shine. She was modest, dressed in a smart, simple dress, her hair neatly tied back, eyes bright and kind. "I'm Amara Obi, from marketing. It's just technique." Her smile was genuine, untainted by the usual fawning he received. Femi felt a warmth he hadn't known in years. Over the next few days, Femi gravitated towards Amara's department, finding excuses to clean the floors or empty bins nearby. He observed her, diligent, always willing to help colleagues, and possessing a quiet dignity. One afternoon, he found her eating a simple meal of jollof rice and plantain from a plastic container at her desk. "That smells amazing," he commented, startling her. She chuckled, "My mother's recipe. You're welcome to share, if you don't mind a small portion." Femi, who usually dined on Michelin-star cuisine, found the offer more appealing than any five-star meal. As they ate, Amara spoke of her dreams of opening a small community center for children, her voice filled with a passion that resonated deeply with Ayo, the man behind Femi. As their friendship deepened, Femi knew he needed a convincing backstory. He fabricated a tale of growing up in a small village outside Ibadan, losing his parents young, and moving to Lagos seeking opportunities. "It hasn't been easy," he confessed, feigning a sigh, "but I believe hard work pays off." Amara listened intently, her empathy palpable. She, in turn, shared her own struggles, supporting her younger siblings through university after her father's sudden illness, and the pressure of being the eldest. Her resilience and unwavering optimism despite genuine hardship captivated him. She wasn't seeking pity or handouts, she was simply navigating life with grace. Femi found himself falling, not for an idea of love, but for Amara herself, the woman who saw him as just a Femi. Femi plucked up the courage to ask Amara out for dinner. "It won't be fancy," he warned, "but I know a place with the best grilled fish in Suralere." Amara, charmingly, accepted. That evening, Ayo, as himself, discreetly booked out the entire small, popular eatery, ensuring privacy. He then arrived as Femi, pretending to have just lucked out with a table. He paid with crisp, new Naira notes, making a show of counting them carefully. Amara seemed genuinely touched by his effort and resourcefulness, enjoying the simple, delicious meal and Femi's attentive company. She complimented his good taste in food, unaware that his taste usually ran to private chefs and imported truffles. Every laugh she shared, every genuine smile, felt like another nail in the coffin of his comfortable deception. Their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. Turned, a mid-level manager in Amara's department, who had long harbored a quiet admiration, or perhaps a possessive interest, for her, began to cast suspicious glances their way. He sought Femi, the cleaner, getting more attention from Amara than he, Turned, with his shiny shoes and ambitious talk, ever could. Whispers started circulating among the junior staff, Amara and the cleaner. How odd. Femi overheard snippets, but dismissed them, focusing on Amara's unwavering kindness. He noticed Turn's sneering looks, but put them down to general office snobbery. He was too consumed by his deepening feelings for Amara to perceive the brewing storm of jealousy and resentment. Ayo, as the real CEO, made his move. He initiated a company-wide internal restructuring, subtly creating a new, low-level administrative support assistant role within the marketing department, precisely where Amara worked. He then announced an internal promotion for Femi, citing his dedication and exceptional observational skills. The move brought Femi into Amara's immediate vicinity, allowing him to observe her more closely, and more importantly, to subtly access files and information about her and other employees. He used this new access to deepen his understanding of Amara's life, her financial strains, her family commitments, and even her occasional complaints about her colleagues. The closer he got, the more he felt the weight of his lie, yet the harder it became to confess. Femi, now a permanent fixture near Amara's desk, began to paint a picture of a shared future. "I'm saving up," he confided one evening after work, as they walked to the bus stop, "to start something small. Maybe a distribution business. I dream of a life where we don't have to worry about every kobo." Amara listened, her eyes softening. "That's a wonderful dream, Femi. But it takes time, and so much capital." She spoke of her practical burdens, the need to prioritize stability for her family. Her pragmatism clashed with his grand, unspoken reality. He wanted to blurt out the truth, to sweep her off her feet, but fear held him back. What if she saw him as manipulative, unforgivable? The gap between Femi's humble aspirations and Ayo's actual empire felt impossibly vast. One afternoon, while searching for a misplaced file in the archive room, Amara stumbled upon an old, dusty contract marked, "Confidential, Adeyemi Holdings Acquisition, 2018. Her gaze fell on the signature line, Ayo Adeyemi. The signature itself was familiar. She'd seen it on internal memos, company-wide announcements, and even the CEO's private office door plaque. But it was the distinct, almost artistic flourish of the "e" and the precise slant of the "y" that sent a chill down her spine. They were identical to the way Femi, the cleaner, signed the simple staff roster. Her heart hammered. No, it couldn't be. A cleaner, a billionaire. The thought was absurd, yet the evidence stared back at her, cold and undeniable. Amara waited until the end of the day, her hands trembling as she approached Femi near the staff exit. "Femi," she began, her voice tight, "I need to ask you something." She held up a crumpled copy of the roster, pointing to his signature, then pulled out a printout of the old contract. This is your signature." But this is the CEO's name. What kind of cruel game is this? Femi's face drained of color. He tried to reach for her, to explain, but she recoiled. How could you? All those stories, all that pretense, was I just an experiment? Your new toy to play with. Her eyes burned with a mixture of heartbreak and righteous fury. The confession that tumbled from his lips, though filled with desperate sincerity, sounded hollow against the crushing weight of her betrayal. The humiliation burned, a raw, festering wound in Amara's heart. She had opened up to Femi, trusted him, perhaps even fallen for him, only to discover he was her employer, a man who had mocked her life with his charade. She vowed revenge. As she navigated the office, a bitter Tond, who had been secretly observing the fallout, approached her with feigned sympathy. I saw how he treated you, Amara. These rich men, they think they can do anything. He began to subtly plant seeds of doubt, hinting at larger corporate misdeeds within Adeyemi Holdings, claiming to have evidence of questionable practices. Blinded by anger, Amara listened, seeing Tond as an unlikely ally. She started discreetly digging, unaware she was being guided by a far more sinister hand. The annual Adeyemi Holdings Charity Gala was the most anticipated event in Lagos, a glittering showcase of wealth and power. Ayo, impeccably dressed as the CEO, planned his grand redemption. He intended to publicly declare his love for Amara, confess his deception, and beg for her forgiveness, hoping the sheer audacity of his gesture would win her back. He had a custom-made diamond ring hidden in his pocket. Amara, stunning in a borrowed gown, stood beside Tond, a triumphant glint in her eye. She had her own announcement to make, armed with documents and a righteous fury fueled by Tond's whispered truths. The media buzzed, cameras flashed, and the stage was set for a night that would either be a fairy tale ending or an explosive expose. 16:9. As Ayo took the stage, the spotlight illuminated his confident, hopeful face. He began, "Tonight, I want to share a deeply personal story." Just then, Amara stepped forward, snatching a microphone from a bewildered reporter. Her voice, though trembling, resonated through the hall. Before our esteemed CEO continues, she declared, her gaze fixed on Ayo, perhaps he can explain his recent foray into facilities management. A collective gasp swept through the room. She then produced printed emails and subtly altered internal reports Tond had given her, alleging a minor, yet technically unethical, shuffling of funds in a subsidiary account, framed as hiding assets. The crowd erupted. Cameras flashed wildly as the true identity of Femi was unveiled, not as a romantic gesture, but as a scandalous deception, laced with accusations of corporate impropriety. Amidst the pandemonium, as reporters swarmed Ayo and the board members huddled in crisis, Ayo's trusted chief of staff, Cunning, moved swiftly. He had been suspicious of Tond's sudden closeness to Amara and the carefully leaked evidence. A quick background check, cross-referencing company archives, revealed a shocking truth: Tond's father was a disgruntled former business partner of Ayo's late grandfather, who felt cheated out of a lucrative deal decades ago. Tond wasn't just jealous, he was orchestrating a long-game revenge. He had meticulously fed Amara twisted half-truths, exploiting her pain and trust to publicly humiliate Ayo and destabilize Adeyemi Holdings, aiming to tarnish the family name and potentially force a sale. The betrayal wasn't Amara's alone, she was a pawn in Tond's elaborate, deep-seated vendetta. The scandal consumed Lagos. Adeyemi Holdings faced a full-blown crisis, with stock prices plummeting and public trust shattered. Ayo, reeling from both Amara's public rejection and Ton's calculated treachery, was forced to address the media, admitting to his misguided attempt to find genuine connection, but vehemently denying the more serious allegations, now proving Ton's malicious manipulation. Amara, horrified by Ton's true motives and realizing she had been a tool in his vengeful game, felt a crushing remorse. She had sought justice but delivered destruction. Ton was arrested, facing charges of corporate sabotage and defamation. The love that blossomed in the cleaning closet withered under the glare of public scrutiny and the bitter taste of betrayal. Ayo was left with his billions, but the possibility of true, untainted love felt further away than ever. Amara was left with shattered trust and the heavy burden of a good heart misled. The story ended not with a happily ever after, but with the painful, enduring consequences of deceit, no matter how well-intentioned. Did the twist in Ayo and Amara's story shock you? What would you have done in their shoes? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. If you were captivated by this tale of love, betrayal, and scandalous secrets, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more dramatic stories, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload.